A father's struggle isn't emotional, it's operational. When people talk about dads struggling, they usually frame it as emotional. They're stressed, overwhelmed, burnt out. But most dads I know wouldn't use any of those words. What they're dealing with doesn't feel emotional, it's practical. It's responsibility. It's keeping everything running. And that difference matters more than what most people realize. I've spent years around dads, events, late night messages, comments on posts that weren't meant to be deep. And here's what I've realized throughout all of these conversations and all of these interactions. There's a pattern that I've been seeing over and over again. When something is wrong emotionally, men notice. They understand the difference between anxiety and frustration. But what fathers experience doesn't register that way. It shows up as logistics, schedules, bills, expecting the unexpected, being prepared for the future. It's not loud. It doesn't demand attention like the regular emotions do. That's why most dads don't say they're struggling. They just say they're busy. When I say a father's struggle is operational, this is what I mean. It lives in systems, not in emotions. It's the constant awareness that things depend on you working correctly. Not just today, not just tomorrow, but long term. Everything depends on you. You're constantly running scenarios in your head. What happens if work slows down? What happens if something breaks? What happens if someone needs you unexpectedly? None of that feels dramatic. It feels like responsibility. And because it feels like responsibility, most men don't see it as weight. They interpret it as the job of being a father. If the bills are paid and everyone's okay, then the assumption is, then this is fine, even when it's exhausting. The problem with operational weight is that it doesn't demand attention. It accumulates over time. And over time, it changes how you show up as a father. You're present, but part of your attention is always elsewhere. Thinking ahead, managing risk, always holding the structure together. From the outside, it can look like distance. But it's not disengagement. It's load management. Most dads don't need someone to tell them to open up. They just need someone to recognize the weight they're already carrying. Here's the part that normally gets misunderstood. Most fathers aren't looking for somebody to take that weight from them. They actually hold that weight with pride. They don't want less responsibility. They don't want to hand it off. There's a difference between asking for help and just being understood. Understanding doesn't change the responsibility. It just changes how heavy that responsibility feels. When you talk to somebody who understands the load, something subtle happens. You're not fixing anything. You're not solving anything. You just feel like you got to put that weight down for a minute. Not permanently, just long enough to breathe, long enough to recoup, long enough to remember you're not the only one carrying something like this. Then you pick that weight back up. Same responsibility, same role, but steadier. That brief relief matters more than what most people realize. It doesn't weaken men. It restores them so they can show up better and stronger for their family. Look, I'm not here to tell you to feel more. I'm here to name what's already real. If fatherhood feels more operational and less emotional, you're not broken. That's how responsibility actually works. The issue isn't the weight. It's the carrying it silently without recognition. Even the strongest grip needs a moment to relax before it tightens again. We'll talk again tomorrow.